Nation is following breaking news from Georgia. Outrage is building in the country's 9th largest city, Atlanta, which is now shut down, paralyzed by a winter storm that has left thousands of people stranded in traffic overnight, and students, a countless number, stuck in their schools. Hundreds of students, in fact, and a large number of motorists right now are still waiting to be rescued at this very hour. Almost a full day after snow and ice turned Atlanta roads and highways into parking lots you see there. Just minutes ago, the Atlanta Public Schools confirmed that buses have arrived at shelter-in-place locations and are loading up kids and staff. The Georgia National Guard has sent military Humvees to rescue children who've been trapped on their school buses, and they've started to distribute blankets and 200 cases of ready-to-eat meals to stranded motorists. Some rescued motorists are also being taken to makeshift shelters. Major General Jim Butterworth said everything is being done to help those who are in need.
We will not rest until 100% of individuals that may be in harm's way have been offered assistance.
Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed would not say how many people remain stranded, only saying that it is a lot. But he admitted mistakes were made in reacting to the storm.
If we had not had everyone exiting at the same time and going en route to pick up their children, then I don't believe we would have had the kind of gridlock that has resulted in what people are seeing around the nation, which are highways that are full. If there were one major lesson learned in the middle of this challenge, that would be that we need to stagger closings for private sector companies, for government, and for the school system.
Well, today, some angry people have taken to social media to lash out at city and state officials for their decision to keep classrooms and government agencies open yesterday, despite warnings by the National Weather Service. And there are questions about the decision to release students and office workers on the streets that had not been prepped by crews when the storm hit. Georgia Governor Nathan Deal announced state offices will remain closed tomorrow as crews continue to deal with the thousands of stranded vehicles, and he encouraged local businesses also to remain closed. The governor said the state was caught off guard by the strength of the storm.
We can't control Mother Nature, and even with the best of forecasting, I don't think anyone could have totally predicted that this was going to have the magnitude within the short window of time in which it occurred. I do think that some of our local meteorologists were much more correct than the national forecasters were.
Joining me now on the phone, USA Today transportation reporter Larry Copeland. Larry, thank you so much for joining us. You have so many people wondering how this can happen, especially after that region was hit very hard in 2011. You've got the mayor saying lessons were learned. Why weren't they learned back then and applied this time?
Thank you for having me, Tamarin. I think the city and state was kind of caught flat-footed with this. They were anticipating the storm going further south, and so, you know, at Atlanta, we don't have the kind of snow removal equipment that cold weather cities have. So keeping things moving relies on getting people off the roads before the storm hits. They didn't do that with this one because they were expecting it to go further south. They had resources. The Department of Transportation had their storm clearing resources positioned at other places around the state. I mean, there were some here, but they had it positioned elsewhere. And then when the storm hit, and they dismissed everybody at the same time. You know, students were let out, businesses closed, government offices closed, and everybody hit the road at the same time.
Which is the question, Larry, how something like that happens. I realize there were only a couple of inches of snow in the Northeast. People say only a couple of inches.
Exactly.
I'm a Texan. I know that that's significant, but it sounds like the streets were not prepped. 1 million people were released onto the streets, meaning office workers, federal office workers, state office workers, I should say, as well as schools here. We're looking at now a confirmed number of people, 2 fatalities, hundreds of people injured in some of these accidents. And now, as the governor said, you have 18-wheelers that are blocking roads. So they don't know when this will ever, we know eventually it will, but we don't know how long it will take to clear this up here.
Yeah, they expect they expect it to be clear, by tomorrow or so, but they didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. So, I don't know if we can really rely on those expectations.
So is the criticism valid that we're reading on social media? I'm about to interview a mom who was just reunited with her child here. I mean, is this criticism valid that's coming the direction of the governor, the mayor of Atlanta as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think they clearly shoulder some of the blame for it, and the governor especially and the mayor have acknowledged that. I mean, the mayor particularly talked about they should have done staggered releases, and the governor talks about he probably should have done a state of emergency declaration earlier.